Yo, what is going on? It's your boy MIC in the building. Glad to have you here. Today we will be doing a sample class run of the TTU Tech and Tech University. Um, I'm sure you just saw the commercial for it. Make sure y'all go check it out. But tonight I'm gonna give y'all a sample class. This will not be fully what the class involves because the class is an interactive class that will be involving you being able to converse back and forth with me as the teacher. But here we will give you a small sample of what you will be experiencing, some of the type of topics that we will be talking about, and we'll be going a whole lot more in depth in the actual class. There'll be some hands-on training going on as well. But what we're going to talk about today is kind of like an introduction to a concept. There are going to be parts of the TTU that is really based around changing your perceptions on how Tekken works as a game. You want to make sure that you have a different outlook altogether than when you come into the game or when you come into our classes. We want it to be something that is very beneficial to you as a player, that you can take on and add on to yourself. And the whole goal, as was said in the video, is to take you from good, where you already understand the mechanics of the game, you understand how the game works. We're going to take you from a good player, and we're going to help push you to a great player, okay? That is what the whole mission is of the TTU. If you're questioning, like, why put it behind a paywall, I've learned that over the years, giving away information for free, people don't tend to have as much investment in it. So they either listen to it or they don't listen to it. They don't really apply it. Maybe they don't value it as much. What we found is if you put a value on something, people will begin to value it. So we have many payment plans for it. So, everybody can't pay for it right out of the pocket, but you can pay for it by class if you would like. You pay for it by semester, however you would like to do that. I really appreciate y'all coming through. What we'll be talking about today, we will be talking about winning and losing and the importance of both, right? This is something that I think a lot of people could stand to maybe conceptualize. I think a lot of the times we find ourselves out here, we're just trying to get a win. We just want to beat somebody. And it was funny, I was listening earlier to the Tekken exhibition matches, and Glaciating was playing, and he played Cluttlecore, and he called out some of the stuff that she does in her gameplay. Then he lived up to that call out by beating her. Then they asked him, it's like, well, what are your goals? And he made a statement that is pretty much what I've been trying to explain to people. And what we'll learn and talk about tonight, it really was kind of centered around what we're going to be talking about tonight. He said, I don't have really goals. I want to be the best that I can be, and that is the goal. I don't care about my tournament placings. I don't really care about winning a certain title. I want to be as good as I can possibly be at this game. And the reason I say that is very important, right? You must acknowledge at first some of these concepts, and we're going to talk about it, right? We're definitely going to talk about it tonight. Let's see, who all we got in here? What's going on, Truth? What's happening with you, player? What's going on, Blossom? How you doing out there? Strider, what's going on, Bama? What's going on with your Steph Lee? I can't see everybody else that's in there right now, but appreciate y'all coming out to come learn a little something. First and foremost, I appreciate you being here. I'm glad you came here to check it out, get a little sample learning, right? Why is it important, really, right? Why is it important to know about winning and losing? Now, I'm going to ask the chat. I know what's going on with you, Justin. I know you do not have the capability to correspond with me directly, but you can type in the chat. I would like somebody to give me their answer, right? Give me a short form answer. What do wins mean to you, right? Why do you want to win? Somebody give me a little short form answer of that if you can. While I get some things together. We got because losing sucks. I mean that is true. Losing does suck. You said learning can be fun. All right, so you win. You want to win because learning can be fun. Is that what you're saying, or are you just answering something else that I said? You might be answering something else I asked earlier. But I mean, I guess that's normally the case, right? 0-2 says to see where he's at. We got everything. You only learn when you lose, though. War Actual says it depends on the type of win. Mac Panther says winning shows progress. Strider says winning is everything. Gigaton, tendency to attribute our skill to binary grading scale like win-loss. These are all good points. We are going to actually touch on almost every point that y'all brought up thus far. Winning shuts light-skinned niggas name Mike up. It does not actually. It just make me go get King and beat the brakes off you. Not enough. Damn, what's going on with you? Eddie says, I still think taking house is one of the biggest steps for me learning fighting games. Okay, that's what's up. That's what's up. Going back and forth with someone you couldn't beat before. All right, something else. All right, so I like those answers. I like those answers. In fact, we are going to get into the substance of all of those answers right here, right before your very eyes. What we're going to have here, I brought up a diagram, right? I made a diagram earlier. You see, I put in work. I put a little bit of work into this, a little bit of thought process. Oh, appreciate you, bro. I sure didn't hit record. Hitting record right now. Got you. We're putting in a little bit of work here, right? So the first thing we're going to look at, right? We're going to pull up something I found that would be pretty useful. Excuse me. When it comes to assessing your skill, right? And where you lie. Now, you all probably play the game at some level wishing to be better than what you are. Now, what we're going to talk about now is not to discourage, but it gives you a relative idea of what your mentality is in the game versus the mentality of what makes a top player, right? Now, those two things, you can have some top player attributes. You can have some common player attributes and be in one of the two categories, right? But it is very likely that if you share too many qualities in one area of the common player, you will never make it the top player. We're not going to try to badger you too long about this, but I'm going to go ahead and pull us up our very first one, right? So let's go ahead and make this happen real quick, like you know what it is. All right, so what we're about to pull up is going to be our very first graph we're going to look at. And what we're going to look at is a common player, a mid-level player's version of winning and what the winning wheel looks like for somebody who does not have a top player mindset, right? Let's check this out. All right, what we have here is the winning common player mentality. First thing you get from the winning common player mentality, right? You get the win. Now you're saying to yourself, well, Mike, okay, of course I get the win, right? Well, what does that mean, I get the win? Well, it means that you are out there, you played the game, you got the W. Now for a common player, what tends to happen is they get comfortable. They don't assess how the victory or the win was obtained, and they repeat the same strategies, right? So if you're just repeating the same strategy over and over and over and over again, right? What tends to happen is if you're winning and you're just repeating the same strategy over and over again, you then tend to become arrogant. All right, you get an air of an aroma of arrogance about yourself, and what happens in that stage is you become self-reliant and unable to receive outside guidance. Right. So I'm sure you have ran into this. I've definitely ran into it. From even players that I know aren't even in a situation where they should be having such an arrogance. I've definitely ran into this. And here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. When it comes to arrogance, this can be the issue that a lot of people get stuck on, because what'll happen is they're winning, they're tackling to win, they're hell sweeping you to win, they're doing rage arts to win, they're doing rage drive special counter hits and the shit's taking 100 damage. Like, they're doing crazy shit to win. And because the only thing they're thinking about is the W, what'll happen is you won't be able to tell them. Like, you won't be able to say, listen, that was kind of a dumb move. It worked, so I'm not going to take away from your victory. But I noticed that you just keep doing this pattern, and you're at the end of the round doing launch punishable moves over and over again. Why are you doing this? You got a speck of health, and you're around here doing hop kicks. You're running around here with no health, and they have a considerable amount of health, and you run around doing, super unsafe low pokes. Like, why are you doing that? You just want to do anything because it's fast? Because you think it's unexpected? I get it. You're going to have to be unsafe to really fight in any capacity. But, some people's mindset is just like, I'm going for it all. And if they manage to win, then it's very hard for them to intake information from an outside source, which then leads them to being in a situation where they go to what we call the next issue, which is having the stagnation, right? Stagnation sets into play. Stagnation is when they lose innovative thought processes, okay? So they already are not taking in information from other people. They're not taking in any thoughts. They don't want to hear any guidance, any counsel, any criticism. What ends up happening is, it's like, okay, well, you're not taking any criticism, and you're using the same old stuff that's been getting you wins. And now you feel like you don't need to do nothing else. And after you do that for so long, what'll end up happening is you will begin to lose that innovative spirit. All right. I know that this, personally to me, I feel like this is one of the things that this generation of game players really suffers from. Right. The people who are playing the newer game, the newer generation of games, especially here in Tekken, they lack innovation. Right. A lot of the times, if they do get anything from an outside source, it's, something they got off of Twitter, something somebody told them probably before they start winning. And they're just copying and pasting somebody else's methods, right? They're not very innovative in their thinking about, like, okay, how does this work? How can I make up something that works? This is just a problem I find with a lot of newer players in a lot of the newer fighting games. Just don't have an innovative spirit. And to make a comparison, I know we talked a few weeks back about the old school versus the new school mentality when it comes to fighting games. And a lot of the times you didn't have the luxury of a YouTube, didn't have the luxury of a Twitter. The closest thing you had was a Tekken Zaibatsu, where you could probably go in there and learn some combos. You have some character specialists, but I mean, it pretty much was text, and then you had to go back in the practice arena, figure out what was going on. You really didn't have a lot of consumption of information. So when you got good, and that's one of the reasons I said, the people that weren't that good or that were intermediate, they're probably worse than the intermediate players of today, just by the sheer access of what the players have. You know, they have access to innumerable amount of options to get information from. Back in the day, you just had to have the drive. If you had the drive, then you became one of the better players, and I think those better players end up being better than the newer better players, right? With some exceptions here and there. But for the most part, I think that really pans out across the board, just normally when you see the dedication that goes into the game. Lastly, we're going to go back to our graph here. And we're going to look at what that next one says, right? It says loses, right? So after all that winning you was doing, all that winning, you end up losing. And guess why you end up losing? Because you lacked the ability to gain new information. You became self-reliant. It all comes right back into play. You know, you no longer wanted to talk to anybody about what you could do to get better. You felt like you were already on the road to success. You really didn't feel like there was a need to do anything else. So you start losing because people caught on to your game plan. And because you got to a certain level, when you were losing at first, you were absorbing all the information you could get. But now that you're getting some wins under your belt, now that you smelling yourself, so to speak, now nobody can't tell you nothing. You don't realize you can smell yourself, but you're still wet behind the ears, okay? At the same time. So, you haven't got to where you think you are. But a lot of people, they don't understand that. What they put a lot of weight in is the W's, right? And we're going to talk about that later, but the W is not the end all be all. But that's just the case. It's not the end all be all. But we'll talk a little bit more about that. But what ends up happening is you run that whole circle. So we're going to go right back to it, right? You run the whole circle here. You go from wins to becoming very comfortable with your own game plan, just never changing it up, doing the same old shit. Then you become arrogant because you're getting results. It's panning out for you. Everything's working pretty well. And then you start becoming stagnant because at the end of the day, you really just have no input. So all you know is, well, this has been getting me this far. I'm not going to do anything else. I don't need to do nothing else. I don't need to learn anymore. I don't need to learn anything else. You become very stagnant, and then you hit a wall and you start losing, right? Now, I don't know if you can see very well, but that loss column, it says what? It says C, common losing mentality. All right. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and pull that up. We're going to pull up the loss wheel. All right. The loss circle for a common player. But actually, we're not going to pull that up. What we're going to pull up next is the winner's mentality for a top level thinker, right? That's what we're going to pull up. So let's switch these out right quick. All right, let's switch these out. Now you'll notice wins. All right, obviously that's where you start out. You start out with your wins. But what happens in the next circle that differs from the last circle was you go into an analysis or assessment. Now, the analysis or assessment, what that leads to is a person assesses how the victory was obtained, as well as patterns and holes in the gameplay that can be exploited or patched. Now that is very important, right? That is very, very important. When it comes to getting better, that is one of the main things that sets apart people who have a top tier mentality, a top player mentality, and those who always stay middle of the road, who never really get any better. Because a lot of people, I know what we heard earlier was losing isn't any fun. And for a lot of people, they think that they want to be top players, but in actuality, they just want to win. And there's a far bridge between this mass of land that is knowledge and understanding and this mass of land that is W's, okay? They are not one and the same. To give you a great example, I could mash buttons and possibly beat somebody with a character I don't really know, right? If I'm just looking to get a W, I could cheat somebody. I could just go get a cheating ass character. And that covers all my bases of knowledge and not really ever learn much. And I could get a W. But a person who is a top player thinking, who has a top player mentality, what they're going to do is say, okay, I won that match. How did I win it? I noticed that I was hell sweeping and he was blocking a lot of my hell sweeps. I really only kind of edged it out because I didn't know what he was going to do and I just made a guess for it. But I won with a hop kick after he did a plus frame move because he ran in. Let me take that to the lab and learn something else, right? Let me see, why did that work? And how can I patch up? What was he really hitting me for? Or how was I about to lose? Or what prevented me from losing? And what did I see in his game plan that allowed me to exploit the weaknesses that he had? Right? Y'all will hear me talk a lot on the stream when I'm playing people. You'll hear me call out what they do, right? The reason I'm doing that is so you can visually get an understanding of what's going on in my brain, right? What's going on in my brain is, okay, great example yesterday, played Truth 404, shout out to Truth. He was playing with Heihachi. He's playing with a lot of the Mishmas, right? I was able to understand what it was he was doing. It's like, okay, what I need to look out for, a good example is Devil Jin. He would do a safe move, he would duck, he would do wild standing too. Now, why was he doing that? It was covering a lot of bases. If I was going low, he was going to block the low. If I was going to throw, because I was playing with King or Kazuya or something, if I was trying to do jabs back to check him, he was going to duck and while standing too, being that it's a 14 frame launcher from crouching, it would be fast enough to catch the whiff jab and give him a combo. What I would have to do is, in those moments, I had to call it out for you to see what I'm thinking in my mind, which is like, okay, all he's doing is he's setting me up for this launcher. So he can make me stay still, so he can go for a sweep, so he can do the other type of launcher. And you have to be able to discern that so that you can then adjust your thinking to what is going on, what's going on in that match. And we call that adaptation, right? Now, what is this part of the process called? Because you are only doing an analysis of this while you are getting your win, like after the match or even round to round. This stuff applies from round to round, right? So what we talked about last time, the same thing could happen. You could be this guy right here, right? Let's bring it right back up. Winning on a on a common level. Let's bring that right back up, right? Oh shit, I ain't mean to bring no damn True 404 up. Don't worry about that one. Anyway, listen, winning from a common player's mentality. We got comfortable. This could all happen within one round. This could all happen in one round. You could win the first round, be comfortable with your gameplay, keep playing crazy. People tell you like, oh, hey man, stop doing the hop kick. He blocked it and killed you. No, he blocked it. I think he's catching on, bro. He's sidestepping you a lot. But you already done won a match, so you just gonna keep doing the same shit that you've been doing, right? Because it ain't changed. That becomes the arrogance. But then what happens? You don't know what to do because you're stagnant. And then he figures out what you're trying to do in the interim of you noobing out, or not even noobing, just running your gauntlet of moves, your flow chart of expectations. And he catches on to what happens to you. And you'll notice that this happens a lot when you see me play a lot of people. This happens a great deal. Somebody will go up 2 rounds. It might be bad too. It might be like they just ransacked me the first round. And the second round, they kind of tore my ass up. And you'll notice like the third round, it'll be like, okay, there's some adjustments being made. And I know you've seen it not just here, but time and time and time again. I know you've seen where somebody is at that little bit of health from getting no round brown. They block at a pivotal moment. They low parry at a pivotal moment. They make you whiff at a pivotal moment. And it all comes clicking in. It's like, all right, I've been waiting for you to react this way because I noticed that this is what your pattern is. I'm using this against you. They then turn the tide, take back the round, and then knock them out, just demolish their opponent the next 2 rounds. You've seen it happen far too many times. And what happened? Well, this is exactly what happened. You saw them come together, and what ended up happening was they got comfortable, they let their arrogance get in the way, they stagnated, they didn't change up their game plan any, and they end up losing. So this does not even have to end up being a situation where you have the ability to you don't have to worry about the idea of this only applying to after the match. This is things that can apply during the match, right? Man, what the hell is that damn noise?
Sorry, it's my show.
Oh, okay, my bad. Sorry about that, y'all. Girl in the background. But what you need to understand is that these things apply across the board. So we're going to go back to our winning side, right? Not our winning side, our top player winning side, right? We're going to change that out right quick for you. All right, so what happens here is you get an analysis, and then you go into data collection. And what data collection is, you consume the most information you can from the most amount of sources possible, and then you put this stuff to the test. Now this portion can happen inside of a match. You know, if you got a coach that's around you, if you're on if you're playing online, you know, and you hear maybe somebody say something like, oh, you know, he's ducking a whole lot, right? You're online and you're in somebody's stream and they're talking this shit, and you hear the commentator, and the commentator's like, oh damn, he's ducking a whole lot. What's he gonna do about that ducking? Being able to intake that information, process it. These are things that top players end up doing. They try to do this whenever they can. If they have a coach, somebody comes up. You've seen it time and time again at big tournaments, majors. You might have Joey Fury and Cuddlecore, Equinox teaming it up, and Cuddlecore might be getting a little flustered. You'll see Joey come up, whisper something in her ear. Next thing you know, she's changing her game plan up. She goes on to win the round or win the match, right? These are things that you have to be receptive to, being able to have various information come in, being able to process it, and being able to apply it. More often than not, you're going to do this in the lab. You're going to take your data collection, maybe while you're riding the train, or when you come home, getting into the practice mode, practice arena, and actually practicing, learning how to practice. Because I know a lot of you don't really understand what you're supposed to be practicing in Tekken. A lot of people get in there and just practice combos, you know, practice tech traps, a lot of offense, but not a lot of real defensive training. The most they'll do is do punishment training for 5 moves that people probably ain't never gonna use. But when it comes down to it, you really want to take that information that you collect and you go ahead and fight your way into a better position, which then feeds what we're going to talk about right here, which is your progression. Okay, that is the next step. Step 4, progression. And progression is when you start learning to innovate and implement new strategies of your own. Now, that is very important. All right. This is the most important portion. It's one of the most important portions of the whole entire circle right here. Okay. This is one of the most important portions because becoming innovative, doing things with innovation, that not only does that change your outlook on the game, right? But it gives you a sense of thinking that is outside of the spectrum of the box that even your opponents may not be ready for. I know a lot of people like to, it's a world that people chase the clout, right? I come from a world where you weren't clout chasing, right? What you really was doing was getting in the lab, developing all the tech you could possibly develop, and surprising people when you hit them with it in the tournament. Now, we live in a different world. People want to go and give all their tech out on Twitter. And, to each his own. It will be helping the community. And in the end, I guess that makes you a better player when you can give all your tech out there and you can fight against it as well. But some things you need to understand. You need to be able to develop these strategies all to your own and understand them in and out, whether they be a defensive mechanism, whether it's a offensive setup that you've learned, whatever it is that you might be concerning yourself with in the lab, make sure that it's something that you can do of your own mental capabilities, that you're able to reach in and come out with something, right? I always tell people this. If you go into the practice mode, you need to go into the practice mode and come up with at least one thing that you made up to help out your situation that you didn't get from somebody else. Now, I know that's hard to do, but it really isn't that hard. It just has to be knowledge that you obtain that nobody told you about. That's a true practice mode, right? Not a combo that somebody didn't tell you about. Maybe we'll go with a tech trap or tech situation if it is very, very useful. But I like myself, I'm a defensive player. I like to find at least one defensive strategy per session that I go into the lab. And if you know me, I like to lab more than I like to play the actual game. In fact, the only time I like playing the game is when I can talk shit to my friends. You know what I'm saying? That's really about it. Kicking it with my homies is when I really like to play the game. But that's actually one of the lessons we talk about in TTU. That's in the second semester, though. What we're going to get back to is we're going to get back to our diagram here. Oh, why? Let me take this shit off of here. Why is this shit the default transition for this shit? Truth don't need no shine. If y'all saw how you got tore up last night, y'all would not even be. Y'all be like, Mike, why is his name even on your stream? You know what I'm saying? Didn't you kill him? You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's a memorial. We got a memorial for him. Anyway, shout out to Truth. You know what I'm saying? We had to put him in the dirt last night. Nonetheless, when we come to this last portion, it says infinite ceilings. Never maxes out potential. This is the result of a top player mentality. When it comes to top players, they never max out their potential, right? What happens here is, you think Nee is probably one of the top players to have ever played the game of Tekken, right? That's probably like the pinnacle. Some people say Arslan Nash. We're going to go with Nee, right? Do you think Nee is where he is because when he got to winning, I don't know, some major tournament, getting as high as he did and placing as high as he has and winning a whole bunch of major tournaments, do you think he said, you know what, I'm good? You know what I'm saying? I don't even need to really learn nothing else. I'm just going to take what I know and go run up on y'all, and I'm going to just beat the hell out of y'all. And anybody that rolls up on me, I'm just going to take what I know. And no, I'm fairly sure this man is practicing every day. If not every day, at least every other day. Maybe he's got a job. I don't know him like that. He did come to my crib one day, so shout out to him. Shout out to you, Nee. You know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, what you have to do, there's an infinite number of ways you can learn different techniques, different situations. There's almost always something to learn. And especially in a game like Tekken 7. Unlike previous games, you could argue that you could possibly learn everything there is to learn on something like Tekken 5 DR or something like maybe Tekken Tag 2, because the game had an ending, right? It was like you have nothing but so many characters, so many stages, so many combos. There's only so many pixels you can walk around on. You could arguably learn everything you can about the game. But when this new set of games, you have a situation here where you don't have the ability to learn everything because the game is ever changing, always evolving. And with it always evolving, everything you knew in Season 2, Season 3 comes out, all irrelevant, start it back over, right? Maybe not all completely irrelevant, but you will have to maybe change a few things. Maybe something, a trick that you use doesn't work anymore because they changed up the situation by 1 frame. They made it 1 frame slower, 1 frame faster of reaction. And now what you used to do to solve a particular problem, you no longer can do that. So you now have to find a new area in which, or a new way to identify that problem and solve that problem. These are strategies that top players have in their mentality. And guess what? Somebody made a statement earlier. Dog, why is this junk still popping up? I know I just changed it. This boy done came over here and let me make sure I change the junk again, bro. Why is this junk still got this fool popping up on my shit? Alright? I don't want you popping up on my shit, dog. You know what I mean? Golly. Thank you. Sports Zoom. Appreciate it. God dang, this thing is just all up on my damn screen. Taking up all the goddamn time. Let me make sure I get this shit 100% right. I don't want to see a nigga name ever again. Might kick his ass out the chat. Keep popping up on my damn screen. Fucking up my lessons, dog. Nigga, loose 404 out here and all up in the stream. Anyway, let's get it. Look, we gonna stay on topic here, but we got top player mentality. And somebody made the statement earlier that you only learn by losing. To that I say, no, that's not true. You actually can learn a lot from winning if you understand why you are winning. And that's kind of what separates the top player from the common player. When you win and you don't know why you won, then, well, I'm going to save that because that's another portion. Right? Let's go to our next, we're going to go to our next graph. Our next graph is going to be losing as a common player. All right, let's check this out. Now, losing as a common player, what tends to happen is you lose and then you start being in denial, right? We've all seen this one, right? Like I said, some top players even may have some of this mentality, but they just can't have too much of this common player mentality, or they will not be a top player. But what you'll see is they'll have denial. You know, they'll start making excuses. They'll start having complaints. They'll start pointing the finger. Man, this controller was fucked up. Bro, the internet, the nigga was lagging. Bro, this nigga here was noobing. He was sorry as hell. You know what I'm saying? Oh, man, he only won because that character cheap as hell. You know, you'll hear all of this stuff. And like I said, you'll even hear from some top players. You know what I'm saying? You will hear that from top players. But from the common players, they will live in denial, right? They will live in denial. They lost. There's no way they lost because they don't know what they're doing. There's no way they lost because they deserve to lose. There's no way, not possible that they lost because they did not have the skills necessary to win. It's just not possible. It's impossible for that to be the case, right? That is the second layer of this particular wheel of losses for the common player. Next, you go into a phase where it's called diminished returns, right? And with diminished returns, what happens is the player's investment into their skill set yields little to no tangible results. All right. So then what's happening is, okay, well, I'm playing all these games, man. I've been playing this shit for I don't know how long. I've been playing this shit like a mug. You know what I mean? Dog, I can't beat nobody, bro. You know what I'm saying? I keep doing all this shit. I go into practice lab. I go into practice arena every day. I can't win, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because it ain't even because of me. It's because, man, this game just, you know what I'm saying? Man, the internet just thought the Wi-Fi, bro. You know, the Wi-Fi. You know what I'm saying? And maybe it is true. Maybe somebody hitting you with snake edges. You know what I'm saying? That's possible. But maybe you just don't know what you're doing, right? Maybe you just aren't putting in the proper work. And so you're not getting any tangible results. You're stuck at Warrior. You're stuck at Juggernaut. You're stuck at Red ranks. You're stuck at whatever rank it is. You know what I'm saying? You just can't efficiently move up the ladder. You might hit that orange rank wall and plateau out. You know, you might get to the purple ranks and can't see nothing beyond it. Don't even know what the next color is. Can't beat nobody in that rank. Keep going right back down to red. You just fluctuating between the purple and the red ranks, right? That's possible. It's very possible. And what tends to happen in those situations is the next step that we're going to talk about here, which is what? You become discouraged. You get discouragement. And what discouragement looks like is you start to doubt in the skill set and personal abilities that you may have, right? When it comes to being able to really have that courage and have that, appreciate that cut, Wes. When it comes to really standing out and having the ability to play through a lot of the situations and take your L's and take your bumps, it takes a certain mentality, which takes us back to that win wheel on the player. Well, we're gonna get that on the top player side with the lose wheel. They have a completely different outlook when they get to these places, right? But what tends to happen for the common player is they get discouraged. They start feeling like, man, I don't even know why I'm playing this shit. I'm just not no good at this shit, man. I can't beat nobody. And a lot of them then go into this final phase, right? Boy, truth, you better not pop up. Thank you. Then you get to the final phase, right? When you get to this final phase, the final phase is lowered investment, right? Lowered investment. All right, so then when you go to lowered investment, you start putting less efforts into progressing beyond your slump. And here is where most people become casual players. This is where casual players come to die, okay? This is where they come to die. Right here. This is the thing that makes casual players exist in the format in which they exist, right? Once you get to that place where you're like, damn, I don't really feel like I'm all that good. I can't do this wave dashing shit, man. I keep losing. I hate this losing shit. I don't know what to do to get better. I don't even know why I'm not even going to go into playing this shit. Why do I need to learn to break grabs? I'm going to be sorry anyway. Like, I can't beat nobody. So, I mean, I don't care about learning how to sidestep certain things. I mean, I don't care about getting deeper in the game. I can't beat nobody. I'm sorry. I'm trash. I'm suckatory madness. Okay? I'm all the way garbage. I'm true 404. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, damn. That's when they become hopeless. And I want you to take a look at this once again. You see what goes from lowered investment, it takes you right back to more losses. And then you start running the gambit of that same losing common player mentality, right? It doesn't break off. It don't take you to another wheel, right? It don't take you to another wheel. You just keep losing. You just keep losing over and over and over and over again to the point where you fuck around and, you know what I'm saying? You lose. You lose and you lose interest in the game. And a lot of people, there's what, 6 million copies of Tekken sold? We don't have 6 million tournament players for a reason, okay? Most people, believe it or not, most people aren't tournament players, right? Most people don't have the gumption to play a fighting game through and become good. Take their lumps and become good, right? So, what exactly is the other side of that coin then? What's the other side of a top player with a losing top player mentality? How do they differ? Surely they get discouraged. Surely they have some doubt. Maybe they have some denial, right? How is it that they get a different outcome? Or do they get a different outcome? Well, let's check out this wheel here for losing as a top player's mentality is involved, right? Let's see how that pans out for us. First, you have losing. And that takes you over to analysis. In fact, I want you to look at this wheel, right? Class, could you tell me something that you notice about this wheel? I'll give you some time. What do you notice about this circle? The losing top player mentality. I'm going to give... You say it's the same picture? What's the same picture? What about it? Mac Panther, you just earned yourself a shirt, player. You've earned yourself a shirt. That is correct. It is similar to the prior winner wheel. See, this is the thing that separates the top player mentality from a common player's mentality. Win or lose, a top player takes the same route in order to get to a better place. Spinal Worship, appreciate that follow. You have to understand what makes a top player. They are going to go through the same steps, whether they win or lose. So if I'm going to switch it, you're not going to be able to tell the difference really, right? Other than the title. But a losing top player is still going to analyze the game. They're going to analyze why they lost. They're going to analyze how the loss was obtained, what were the patterns and holes in gameplay, and what could be exploited and what could be patched. They're going to take that, go to the data collection area. Once they go to data collection, they're going to work out those kinks. They're going to find out like, oh, okay, he was doing 1-1 and then he was doing a hell sweep, or he's doing 1-1 and doing a mid poke. Let me see what I can do to defend against this, so that when I see that pattern happening again from another player, that I'll understand how to beat that situation. They take that data collection and they do what with it? They go into the progression mode. They start to innovate. They start to implement when they start playing the game again. Or start running back into practice mode or running into other competition. They start to implement that. And then you know what is different from the other wheel? They end up winning. And what does it say for that? It says take you to the winning top player mentality. We know what happens on that winning top player mentality, right? What happens? Let's pull it up. You go to the winner's wheel. All right, you go to the winning top player mentality, and guess what it looked like? Damn near the same, okay? Damn near the same. All changed was where wins is and the infinite ceiling. That's all that changes. That is how top players maintain their top player status, right? You don't become a top player just off of the luck of being a top player. You become a top player because you are constantly pushing yourself. You lose, you push yourself. You win, you push yourself. You don't get comfortable. You don't start saying, oh shit, man, I finally met my goal. I'm the best in the world. I don't need none of this shit. No, you may have won that game, but we're gonna get into it, right? I want you, before we go any further, right? Before we go any further, I want you to explain to me, why do you think it is important that we even talk about this win and loss? Like, why is this important to your progression as a gameplay, as a Tekken player? I mean, you could use it for many games, but specifically for Tekken, why do you think that this is personally useful to you in your progression as a Tekken player? You can go ahead and answer that in the chat. I'm gonna give you a little bit of time. Give you a little bit of time right there. We definitely have. There's a lot to come from it. Alright, Stuff Lee says, cause Tekken has no limit. Alright. I like that. I like that answer. There's nothing wrong with that answer. Most successful people fail their way to the top. That is true. That's true in life in general, right? What we're going to get into is how this helps you gaming-wise, right? Because what you don't know about TTU is not just a school focused only on playing Tekken. It is a game. It is a school helping you to develop the person you are to better you in Tekken. But it was going to also better your outlook on life. Everything's twofold around here. You know, Tekken House, we always got to do a little something extra to make sure that you can run these things and apply them in your actual life. Because a lot of times you may not know this, but this is one of the classes. You know, one of the classes is how your life is imitated, or how your gameplay imitates the way you live your life. And vice versa. A lot of the times you'll even notice that if you know somebody who, if you even think about it, you think about the type of player a person is, how they play the game, and then kind of think about how they live their life, you'll be very surprised at how many people's lives mimic and mocks the way that they live their life. My girl brought up a good example. We got Sims. Sims like to lay on the ground. He played with two characters that lay on the ground. He like easy mix-ups. He don't really want to work too hard. What he do? He get characters that got a whole bunch of 50-50s. You just go for it or don't go for it. He likes to gamble. He's a gambler. You know what I'm saying? He's gambling with the low. He's gambling with the mid. They both launch punishable. Don't care. You know what I'm saying? If they hit, he gonna win big. If they don't hit, well, try again next time, right? So you'll be very surprised how often that aligns, which is why we are looking to push people to be the best that they can be. Because ultimately, when you take these things that you're learning, not just here tonight, but if you sign up for the classes TTU, what you're going to learn is going to ultimately make you better overall as a person. But first, let's talk about the gaming, right? The first thing we want to talk about is how it puts a perspective on the necessity of both winning and losing. A lot of people put a lot of emphasis on on winning only. And they don't put a lot of emphasis on, like, man, you need to go out there and lose. Like, obviously, nobody wants to go out there and lose, right? Nobody's goal is, hey, man, go to this tournament and go 0-2, right? Just don't beat nobody. Just go in there and get your ass whooped. That's not what we're stating here, right? What we want you to understand is the benefits of both. Another thing that we feel like you really need to learn is you need to understand that winning is only a momentary perk to becoming a better player. It is never a point of comfort. That is one of the best things you will learn here tonight. If you don't take anything else away from tonight, you need to understand that winning is only a perk to becoming a good player. You cannot win and rest on your wins. To give you an example, let's say you beat a top player in a tournament, right? All that really means is you were a better guesser at that point in time than that player was, unless you understand how you won and you can replicate it. If you don't understand how you won, and you can't replicate how you won, it don't even matter that you beat me in a tournament. I know that sounds ridiculous, but especially in Tekken 7, of all games, of all the games that have been out, especially in Tekken 7, you winning and putting Anakin in the losers bracket, it don't mean a whole lot, alright? I know people would have you believe otherwise. A 1st to 10 really don't mean a lot. Here's the thing. And this is to the point I was talking about with Glaciating when he made his statement, right? Winning and losing, they're just consequences of a health bar. You would not lose, possibly you wouldn't lost that match if you had 181 health instead of 180 health. You know, you might not lose if you might have won if you made them same decisions and your character's combos just took more, right? You might have lost just because they have a character whose combo takes a lot. And they guessed right one time, you guessed wrong one time, but their damage was just far outweighing your damage. There's a lot of factors. You know, oh, you cranked the super up, and, you know, I thought I was going to be able to kill you, but I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready, and you cooked the super on at the right time. It saved your life. Winning is not the end all be all. I know that a lot of people, I've seen it here, a lot of people, they play in these tournaments, especially our local tournaments. You can see like, oh man, Chop is normally running the tournaments. You know, he's winning all the tournaments, right? And you'll see some of the newer players, they'll win. They might put them in the losers. They might put them out the tournament. And it's like, oh yeah, man, I beat Chop. You know what I'm saying? I knew I was getting better. I knew he wasn't nothing. I knew I was going to beat him. It's like, okay, might beat him once or twice in a tournament. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, man, I know I'm good now. I'm on par with Chop. He's my rival. And it's like, okay, you beat him in a 1st to 2. You beat him in maybe a 1st to 3. Then he invites these people over to his house. They do 1st to 25. He beat them like 25 to 2, 25 to 10, 25 to 4, right? And then it's like, well, I mean, you get lucky, you might get 3 or 4 wins in a row on me one day. Which is why I do the passing the torch, right? The reason I personally do passing the torch is because I should not be able to beat anybody that goes to a tournament every week for a year. If you're progressively getting better, I shouldn't be able to beat you because I ain't been to a tournament since, I think DreamHack was the last tournament I was in, which was definitely about a year ago, right? 2 years ago. Was that 2 years ago? That was 1 year ago. Yeah, I think that was 1 year ago. That's the last time I was in a tournament. The game didn't change. There's new characters on the game. It's all kinds of stuff. Only thing I learn is what I go in the lab and learn, right? Or if I play somebody online, this is all I'm learning. So to me, it's like, all right, well, I would like to see where these players are really at. And what I find is a lot of players, they feel like they are a lot better than they are. And it's not because they aren't good. It's not because they aren't better than they were. What the problem is, they're not as good as they think they are. And that's a hard pill to swallow for everybody. I had to go through that when I was coming up. I'm sure many of the players that you love today that are at the upper echelon of the game, they probably got towed up by somebody when they thought they was the best shit of all time. Everybody gets humbled. Everyone. I've gotten humbled. I got humbled the other day. I played GM. He beat me like 9-0 before I started catching on to what he was doing. You know what I'm saying? That took adaptation, right? Stuff happens. Just yesterday, Truth beat me, 10-0 with Heihachi versus my Kazuya. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I had to be humble. My execution wasn't on point, so guess what happened? I lost to somebody that maybe I probably had more skill. I probably was a better skill-wise than them, but their execution or my lack of execution along with their skill of execution being fairly decent led to me losing. What can I say? I can't make an excuse about it. I just have to acknowledge that that's an L that I took, and that if I really need to change that outcome, that I have to do some work. I got to do some work, get a little bit better, right? That's just a consequence of playing the game, right? And I know a lot of people, they will win, you know. They might go out and they might beat Lil Majin in a tournament. They might beat Cuddlecore in a tournament. They might beat, JDCR in a tournament. And it's like, yeah, man, I know I was good. I know I'm the best. I'm the best. I'm better than... But then they get home and be losing to niggas that can't beat nobody in a tournament. You know what I'm saying? Be getting towed up by people who ain't got no reason to be beating you if you beating JDCR. You know, or like the commercial says, in the TTU commercial, a lot of the times people will have beat somebody and then run back in the, you know, Chop is notorious for this. Chop is notorious for losing to somebody and then after that taking them and money matching them after the tournament and taking all their money, right? Taking all their winnings, all of their earnings, right? That's because sometimes you have to understand. And if you do not understand why you're winning, I have a phrase. I just made this shit up today, right? Somebody else may have used this before, but this is a phrase that I'm instituting, right? A highly informed loss is better than a random win any day. I want you to write that down somewhere, okay? I want you to write that down. If you don't take nothing else besides what I told you earlier about not being comfortable, I want you to write this down. Everybody in the chat, I need you to type this up. A highly informed loss is better than a random win. I need to see that at least 10 times in the chat. I need 10 people to at least write that up. Can I get that to happen? And we'll be right back in just a second while y'all go ahead and write that up for your boy. All right? Remember, once again, that is a highly informed loss is better than a random win. I need you to go and type that up in the chat. I will be right back in just a moment.
Oh, you just don't have
We have control of the objective. Defend it.
Lethal out.
We have control of the objective.
Nice.
Defend it.
Alright, they got... What you thought it was?
Give me up. Utility out. You okay? You okay?
Did you... Bring your dumb ass over here. You got disintegrated. Don't you ever in your life try me like that, nigga! We told him about doing it. He still, he just want to do it. He trying to keep me out now. He don't want me to give him no pressure, but he on his wall. Now what I told him about being on the wall? I told him don't press no buttons. Stay still. Stay still.
Easy.
Damn, disgusting, dog. Hella disgusting. All right, guys, we are back. Sorry for that little pause. I saw y'all put that in there. Yes. Now, we talked about it when we last left. A highly informed loss is far better than a random win. Why do you think that is important? Why do you think I came up with that statement? A highly informed loss better than a random win. For most people, they would probably say, Mike, that it don't matter as long as you win. All that matters is the W. Maybe when money's on the line, that might be the case, right? When money's on the line, you're just trying to win, right? But this is not what this course is about. This course is not about going to the tournament and trying to cheat people out. If that's the case, go pick the top tier player, go get the most top tier character that is the easiest to use, and just try your luck. Because if all you care about is winning, then that's probably the best way you're going to win, right? You probably aren't going to be invested enough as a person to take any of this information that I'm giving to you and actually apply it. So you can go ahead. You probably shouldn't sign up for the class. You probably should find the person who's going to teach you how to cheat, all right? In fact, just going to get you a Game Genie and figure out how to weld down that to your controller. You know what I'm saying? Figure out how to macro up your joystick so you can do down forward to electric as a button press. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and find somebody else to teach you how to cheat somebody or how to be random as fuck. What we're teaching you here tonight, what we are teaching you is engagement with your mind. Thinking about the game in a perspective that is far different than what you may be normally used to thinking of it in. And this is not to say that you're going to be a green rank today and tomorrow you're going to be knee. You're not going to be there. It's going to take a process. But I promise you at TTU, once you get finished with these classes, this course, you go take that course, I promise you, you're going to be far better than you ever were without it. So we're going to talk back to highly informed loss better than a random win. The reason that a highly informed loss is better than a random win is because it goes back to what we talked about here, which is the data collection and analysis, section 2 and 3. When you have that analysis and you collect all of that information, you start storing all that information into your head. Like, okay, I lost, but you know what I lost? I lost to somebody who always does 2 wave dashes and hell sweeps. And every time he does an electric, he does 1 wave dash and does an electric. And when he does forward 3, he does 2 wave dashes. But he doesn't know how to do the crouch dash twin pistons or crouch dash while standing 2, or he hasn't shown me he knows how to do that stuff. So if he does 2 wave dashes, all I'm going to do is sidewalk the Kazuya player, and guess what's going to happen? I'm going to kill him every time. You know why I'm going to? Because I collected that data. From that loss, I was informed on why I lost, and now I'm going to apply that. So when I win afterwards, guess what's going to happen? I'm going to win because I know how I won. I can repeat that. I can make those situations occur again. I am an informed player. So now I don't have to worry about having random wins. Now I have adapted to what their gameplay is. This is very important. It is one of the most important things. If you have not heard me say anything else, the 2 most important aspects of playing Tekken, maybe any fighting game, but especially in Tekken, the 2 most important aspects: execution, adaptation. Write that in the chat. Write it for your own good, but I want to see it in the chat at least 10 times. I need to see it pop up. Adaptation, execution. That can be interchangeable, but those are the 2 most important things in playing Tekken. Somebody will tell you it's movement. Some people will say it's punishment. Some people will say it's combos. No, what all that boils down to is adaptation and execution, or vice versa, right? Being able to backdash when you want to backdash is execution. Too many people think of execution as being able to perform a combo, being able to simply perform a move. No, part of when they tell you you need to be able to use movement is execution. Not being able to sidestep on the proper frames, that is a thing that will get you killed in a situation. We're going to go into the lab right quick, just for a small second, so I can show you the difference between the two, right? And it's something very small, right? It's as small as like one frame accident. A one frame accident could very well change how your match ends, right? So what we're going to do, I'm going to take you into this, I'm going to take you into the lab. Truth says only 5 characters have real execution. No, what he is referring to is only 5 characters have moves that require a lot of execution. But execution can be used by every character. Every character has execution issues. Alright? And that's because the player has an execution issue. It's not necessarily because the character does not have that. The ability, or because the character is too hard to do it. Because at the end of the day, you could learn how to execute anything if you really put enough practice into it. You know, Nia's running around here doing taunt jet upper like that junk is not a problem. Jimmy J Trend running around doing taunt jet upper like it's not a problem. Incognito running around here doing taunt jet upper like it's not a problem. Main Man Sweet running around doing down forward 2 electric like it's not a problem. Ryan Hart running around here doing down forward 2 electric like it's not a problem. So that type of execution stems from the other type of execution I'm talking about, which is just doing what you want to do when you want to do it. That is the execution that is most important. It's more important than being able to do just frames. It's more important than being able to do any of that other stuff. And we are going to talk, we have a class on execution, right? But I'm just going to show you one thing. I'm going to show you one scenario here where we could, so I can give you a hands-on, a visual of what I'm talking about when I say execution and being able to do things when you want to do them. Right? Let me transition you over to this right quick. All right, what we have here. I'm gonna show you something with this character. Now this, when I'm speaking of execution, this is what I mean, right? Let me take this down so I hear that in the background. All right, so I'm gonna record something, right? That's the thing. Oh no, I'm sorry, I did that. All right, that's the thing. That's the thing, right? Now we're gonna take these off. I want you to just see something. I blocked that, right? I blocked that, right? I blocked that, right? Now I want you to see this. I'm going to finish the move. Oh, I got to cut it off this one. My bad, sorry. I'm going to sidestep. Oh, got slapped, right? Slap me. Did you see that? You saw how I got hit versus when I didn't get hit? That's simple. That's simple. Listen, that is a simple. That is simple execution error. That simple execution error determined the difference between me punishing my opponent and my opponent punishing me. Because I tried to step and I stepped too late and got hit by the second part of the move. As simple as that. I didn't step in time, I got hit by the second part of the move. That is what I mean by execution being one of the most important things that you will ever see or have to deal with in the Tekken world, right? That, along with adaptation, which is what data collection will get you, you will gain that knowledge. Those are what wins matches. That's what makes you a better Tekken player. Along with going in the lab and learning different situations, being able to do things when you want to do them, very, very important aspect of Tekken. When it comes to playing Tekken, the importance of losing, not only does it do something for you in the game, but let's talk about the real life applications of these kind of thought processes, right? How does this help in my real life? Like, do I really want to spend money going to some shit to teach me a game? Of course, if you really dedicated to the game, that's an investment you're willing to put into yourself, right? Some people have already done it. Even some players that are very good, like very good players, still have done it, right? Because at the end of the day, it is a process by which you're going to always need to stack knowledge on top of knowledge on top of knowledge. But how does this help me in my real life, right? Here's to the other advantage of signing up for this class. These things help you in your real life when you face situations. Now, what's execution in real life? Like, I don't have to sidestep shit in real life. Well, you know what? You kind of do. You kind of do. When you have a problem with your boss, right? And your boss is on some bullshit. You may feel like this is a stretch, but it really isn't. Have you ever thought to yourself, like, how is there a way that I can perfectly execute my interaction with this person and adapt with how this person acts, right? If they're a hothead, obviously I can't go to a hothead and cuss their ass out, right? But I also don't want them coming down on me, talking crazy to me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to adapt to the situation. I'm going to voice my opinions or my concerns when this person is in the least stressed moment, when I can get down and sit down and talk to this person. And the execution aspect is doing so without ruffling the feathers of the person I'm trying to engage with. That's a simple way that these things can help you out in real life. When you start using your brain to expand it to areas that are beyond just a game, that comes full circle, right? Another way you could take something in the real world and bring it to the game. Stress levels, not being able to deal with stress in your real life. You got 10 bills coming in, Netflix about to come up, you got a girl about to come over, she want to give you that booty, but she say she ain't got no Netflix. You ain't got Netflix, she ain't giving you that thing. So you like, dang, bro, do I pay the light bill tomorrow, or do I go ahead and pay this Netflix tonight and let the lights go off tomorrow, cause she gonna be gone tomorrow and she gonna come tonight and I just need the Netflix and get that thing taken care of. Well, obviously you want to make a wise decision. What you will do is you'll prolong that gratification and you'll take care of your light bill. You'll tell her, listen, I'm in a situation where, you might need to come over next week. I got some things came up. You make a wise decision. You put out the fillers out there. It's kind of like a down for it one. I'm just checking. It may hit you. It may not hit you. But I'm not finna just do no hop kick. I'm not finna do no Matterhorn. I'm not about to go out all out and just stop. I'm not paying a light bill. I'm putting down on a damn Netflix so she can come over and give me up that thing, bro. There's better ways to get to the point at which you're trying to achieve, okay? There is a better way to get there. And the best way to get there is by thinking of it in a process the same way you would think of Tekken. You know what? I need to get this damage back. He's up on damage. He's spamming these attacks. Let me just kind of delay the gratification of just doing a big ass Matterhorn. Let me see if I can kind of backdash and maybe counter hit. Let me counter poke and see if I can get a little bit of damage here, a little bit of damage there. We'll get that hop kick. We're gonna get that hop kick later on when we load them into the situation that we know is going to be probably guaranteed for us to get it. Or we see they're wilding out. Let's just let them kill themselves so that when we do our hop kick, we know we ain't gonna have no problems, right? Or when she finally come over, you know what I'm saying? We got the lights on. You know what I'm saying? We got the LED lights on, bro. You know what I'm saying? We out here looking like this in the building right quick. You know what I'm saying? We out here with the... Baby, what happened to the lights? Why this shit turned back? Can't even do my illustration, dog. Anyway, bro. The light then changed back to regular color. Anyway. We're going to have the lights low. You know what I'm saying? We're going to be doing it all in the building. All right? We're going to have LED lights changing colors in the background. You know what I'm saying? We're going to have the Netflix on the biggest TV in the house. 25-inch TV. But, you know, it's the biggest one in the house, though. It's the biggest one in the house. We ain't worried. She ain't going to be looking at the screen that long. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to stand in front of that 25-inch. It's going to have my junk looking humongous. All right? All we need to know is you can apply these things in your real life as you can in your gaming. That's just one of the things that is very integral. And like I said, there is a class on that dedicated to that. Dedicated to putting your real life into situations or thinking about the game as a real life situation. Not going to hold up too much of your time. Like I said, these classes are only about 2 hours, hour and 30 minutes long. We have came to our conclusion of the class. I appreciate you all coming out here. Thanks for everybody that showed up. Glad we had a good turnout. If you have not already, I'm going to run this commercial so y'all can see it. And then we're going to come back and talk about a few more things. And then we're going to let y'all up out of here. Class will be dismissed in just a moment. So let's check this out. One last time, give you this information that you can go over to TTU. Sign up today. Classes are starting Thursday, 7:30, right? We only got limited space, so you got to go ahead and sign up right now if you want to get in on it. Let's check it out. Get the information. We're going to come back, and then we're going to do a last little word. We're going to sum some shit up. We're going to get the hell up out of here. Hey, you. Yeah, you looking at me. What's really going on? Remember that time you beat that one top player one match? Then your friends had you all gassed up, only for you to lose all your money in the money matches after the tournament. Now you at the payday loan shop trying to make rent. What's really going on? Oh, that's right. You attacking God Prime, though. Yeah, that's right. Except for you struggling to get top 16 in a 15-man bracket. What's really going on? You got all the combos. You hitting all the jet springs. You got setups on setups on setups on setups. But you rocking the capital letter F in defensive ability and throw breaking. What's really going on? Better yet, why are you even still playing? You must want somebody to acknowledge you, huh? You must want somebody to tell you you good, huh? You just playing for fun. Hey, play up. Hey, you ain't really trying to win. You just want to play a little Tekken, huh? You ain't really trying to get good. You ain't really trying to compete like that. Where your car, boy? You ain't got drive like that. Oh. Listen, player. If you really about that life like you say you is, go on over there to tknhouseent.com/TTU. Sign up today. Hey man, what you waiting on? Go ahead and sign up today. tknhouseent.com/TTU. Go from good to great in 8. Alright guys and gals, it has been a great night having you here. Make sure y'all go check that out. In fact, just check out the website. If you ain't done that, I don't know what you're doing. You need to go check that out ASAP, because just the Tech and House ENT website is fire. All right, go get player profiles, player podcasts. You can hear about all your favorite players in Atlanta. At least the ones we got so far. We got a new DLC packet coming out, dropping more players. I think at the end of the month. So you're gonna probably have like 5-10 more profiles getting released. So I mean, just go ahead and check that out if you ain't checking nothing else out. But definitely, if you have not already, sign up. The classes, it's $80 for 8 classes, right? So that's over an 8-week process. The program's 8 week long. You can pay individually $20 a class if you just you're interested in a particular class. You can pay just for that class. There is a special graduation perk to people who do all of the classes and that actually passes the classes, because you can't fail this course. I'm letting you know there's a rubric, there is homework, okay, there are lab assignments, group projects, we got all of that. All right, this is like a college course. This is not just simply you going to watch some YouTube videos. That's not what this is. This is much like tonight, lectures, but more in depth, more about focusing your game plans and your gameplay. We're going to teach you some stuff that you might not have any idea about, you never even thought about, you never heard nobody telling you about. I know, because I go look on the internet and I'd be like, why ain't nobody doing this shit? Why isn't nobody telling nobody this shit? Some of this stuff y'all will have heard before, but you just haven't applied it. Maybe you'll be more interested in it when you're paying for it. That's all I can tell you. At the end of the day, it is going to be something that I hope becomes a staple in our community. Shoot, I wouldn't mind TTU expanding out to various players. Y'all can have many professors come up underneath the goddamn moniker. I love it. Then I could just sit back and make lesson plans like a real teacher and not teach y'all a damn thing. Let somebody else do it. All right? But until we get to that point, you know what I'm saying, until the school board approves us, we're going to be handling things around here. I'm going to be doing that. All right? So when it comes to kicking it with y'all, it's been a great night. I really enjoyed myself. I hope you all learned something, took something, some of this valuable information. Like I said, the actual course, little different than this because it's actually interactive. You will be in a classroom with your classmates. We all will be in a meeting. We'll be able to talk to each other. All of that. Go check out the requirements and all that you'll need. But for the most part, make sure that y'all go check that out. Enjoy yourself. Shout out to everybody that's in here. We're going to find somebody we can host right quick. I know y'all just got finished watching. We'll send y'all over to my boy Lil Majin. Let me make sure ain't nobody in our in here from our group. Alright, I'm gonna send y'all over to Lil Majin. I hope they, show him some love. I don't know if he won or not tonight. Somebody know if he won, I don't know. But we'll send this over there to him. Hope y'all have a pretty good night. Till next time, you know what it is. The realm of the real, only the real can chill. Peace.